December 9:41 a.m. District Court Defendants Lobby number 5. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. We are continuing with the last trial, I think this is. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah, good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparking self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina. Oh, fabulous, my sweetie pie. My sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that. So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess. You fly at the end? Oh no, it's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweet pie princess doesn't, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtains. I'll see you later today. I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to ya. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo. Top of the morning to ya, Governor. Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my, thanks. So how are you today, White? Well, I got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Akro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's putting his life on the line, literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we'll rely on evidence. It's the only way we get past Akko and the truth. You're right, but it's gonna be tough. Anyway, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she's finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches. Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. December 30, 10 a.m. District Courtroom number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galantica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Miss von Kammer, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revisit the previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say a new eyewitness. One that says Maximilian Galantica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order. I have a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation that prosecution will present it if the need so arises. The fact my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my order. poor gumshoe. Very well, please call your witness to the stand. Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Name and occupations. Ken Dingeling, but everyone calls me Acro. I am employed as an acrobat at a very big circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Will you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. What I witnessed. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting on my bed. Around that time I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then a few moments later I saw something flying right by my window. It was Max Galantica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looks like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix, right? Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness testimony? In the words of Miss von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceeding? There is no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with your cross-examination. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed. You said you were resting in your bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct. But there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Haha, sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. The witness will proceed with his testimony. And that time I had enough fun. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in your bed. That is correct. But you were still able to hear the sound from outside. I was indeed. Pressing Arco doesn't seem to get the result. But maybe something was contradictory in what he said just now. Nothing, Your Honor. Until I can find clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. Okay. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin or perhaps a lost action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure, it's plausible. You have no need to mince words, Mr. Phoenix, right? Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as if we were there with you that night. I believe it was a human. Damn, I just strengthen his testimony. I wonder Arco's statement gives. Okay. The lights in your room was turned off then, right? That's true, I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were able to see a human fly by your window. The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person back, so I couldn't see the white roses in front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the performed person I saw was Max Galantica. The more I pressed him, the less risk. But maybe there was something. There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. Is there a contradiction? Then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence that supported your claim of a victim? Yeah, the silk hat. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering that state that I'm in. Just looking outside the window was tough enough challenging for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the wingmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has two silk hats? No, this is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only by Maximilian Galantica. Which means, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Order. As always, it looks like someone just had opened their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. White? What would cause the witness to commit perjury in the court today? Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accused Akro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Akro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuses him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. White, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab an audience heart and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by fair theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the books. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He's staying rather calm and collected. Mr. Dilling, do you have any response to the defense accusation? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone takes a good look at me. I can't even stand by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. White is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of murder of all things. See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. She's right. Way to pick on a disabled, you heartless cool man. Phoenix is a poopyhead. See that, Mr. Phoenix, right? If you're trying to drum up support from the Peanuts Gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I got a doctor's note to confirm Aku is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning to making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Aku has an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Aku have an accomplice? God. Yes, of course he did. It's impossible for Aku to be the murderer in this case. If that's the case, then it's natural for one to consider a possible accomplice. You don't say. Not good, not good. This isn't going to end well. Don't tell me you're thinking you're going to get off easy. What? You must have heard second sound just now. Maybe it wasn't clear enough. The sound of you falling into your own trap can be hard to notice sometimes, Mr. Wright. It seems as if you won't be stopping at Aku, but will be making another accusation. If Aku did not have an accomplice, things are not looking good for you. I understand, Your Honor. Very well, let's continue. Who percent would happen to... That's... You don't say. Oh no, okay. Did you hear that? Hear what? The sound of you. Placed by Arco in Regina's pocket on the morning prime. Okay, I'm just failing. You didn't miss it, sound, did you miss it? Huh? Oh god, it's not going well. Now then, this must have been when we get here. The name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, von Karma. What? What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. White? There was no accomplice. Arco planned and committed the murder all by himself. Order. What are you getting at? Way to keep on the toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Arco murdered Russell Barry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all a lie, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Stingerling? He was obvious here in the entire time. That's Akko's room. Pretty simple, eh? Akko wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Akko didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What are you saying, Mr. Dingerling? It's an interesting theory. Huh? That's it. Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that is. Mr. White? Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, as your assertion is impossible, as he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could have gone to the scene or be the killer. You got a point. You seem to have forgotten once again, Mr. White. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Rose said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask you a question, Mr. White? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here, she's right. I can't mess up here. I have got to give this some serious thought. I'm sure that Aku killed the ringmaster, and he did it while he was in his room, no doubt about it. Time to enlighten us to how Miss Dingley committed the crime. Time to enlighten us to how Mr. Dingley committed the murder. I'm going to present some evidence. So, what did Mr. Dingley use to commit them? What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bust. It's quite a large bust, and because it's life size, it's very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death, especially if it was dropped from the third story window. Huh? See, this is how Aku was able to kill the ringmaster, with the force of gravity and Maximilian Galantica's ample bust. Order. So you're saying the bus fell onto the ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Aku is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like a bust. Mr. Dingley, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Aku has lost for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Aku, you can't... I watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix, right? What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? From Karma? She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There is absolutely no need for such a testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense objection is overruled. Why can't he see the things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingley, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems, however, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. That woman will sink to any lows to win a case. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body, from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bus and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the wingmaster's head. Thus, it would have been unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regards to this witness testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look, not to mention that he could not have known the location of the wingmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on this man? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I got to focus. I suppose I could have. Have you ever lifted up the bust before? No, I never actually lifted it up with my own 2 hands. But I should get to it. Don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? This crazy monkey has lifted Mac's bust before. Please continue with your testimony, Mr. Dingaling. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. So, what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or the tightrope. You don't say. But, no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Miss Phoenix, right? I wouldn't lose either, slowpoke. I mean it. Oh, how did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden? I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would be impossible. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I end up falling out of the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown that bust out of the window. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation. But it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would have not been able to see below the window. That makes it impossible for me to know the location of the ringmaster's head. Why do you say it would be impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bus, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there is no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you got a point. Hey Nick, huh? What if you turn things around? Maybe if you think it's sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could have dropped the bus. That does make sense. If only I could prove somehow that Arko knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I already explained things sufficiently. Thus, it would be unrealistic to me to drop the bus on him, don't you think? If all you had to do was drop it when it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. However, there is no way I could have landed a direct hit on the wingmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, does it, Mr. Wright? Akko is strong enough to lift up the bus. The main problem is how he could have aimed for the wingmaster's head. I wonder if he used some kind of tool to aim for the wingmaster. There's the ticket, Nick. Show them what you got. I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with this case. I don't remember us finding any sort of tool, but maybe we overlooked something. There. The victim was hunched over this. I suppose I have left something aside. I have. Crow, you didn't really need to lean out the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the wingmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes, hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the wingmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same point that the wingmaster lifted up the wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bus were to fall upon the point marked by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could have missed the head of the victim. No. Order. This is unbelievable. Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going, and there's only one way to go from here forward. So the next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Allow me to whip. The wingmaster's head could have been anywhere when they lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. Do you recall what was inside the wooden box? There was only a small bottle of pepper, wasn't there? Got on with it. Well, what's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Okay, yeah. No, Nick, you didn't think enough. It's what? Okay. The weight of the box. Yeah, stupid me. The box has a remarkable weight. According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up the wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up where their body wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also carried handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift off the box, you have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would have been approximately the same place. Fool. Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I heard what you had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place the wooden box at... Mr. might have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done that. What he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Then what happened to it? I like to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. That means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I might very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my... window? To my room? You see, Miss Phoenix Wright? Explain what? Explain that. Don't forget you said there was no accomplice. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all. Alright, Mr. White, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Akro's room. Akro's room? But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny. Maybe you should put the whips down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Yeah, Akro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the mark for a new roommate. Order. I said order. Miss Von Karma, where is the bus in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is rather strange turn of events. But let's say that monkey had stolen that bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon, huh? Wait. Then you mean this bust was the murder weapon purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Akro was Money's mountain of stolen goods maybe Akro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyway, I think we more than proven the critical fact, namely that it was entirely possible that Akro was an was the murderer. Moron. Mr. White's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Don't seem too flamboozled, especially by the fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix, right? And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical clown was spotted at the scene of the crime. Huh? There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Miss Wright? Don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn the trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Miss Phoenix, right? Who was the murderer? Was the murderer the clown saw? It was the boss, right? He saw Max. I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Or contrary mon frere. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Mac's silhouette, but he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Mac's boss. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would have been easy to hang on one of the cards in the bust hands. Idiot. Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. White. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is one of the utmost important to this case. Don't you agree? Duh, he caught me. So let's have it, Mr. White. Who put the cloak on the bust? Fool, him? You are saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry. That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust. Place the cloak isn't really the right way to put it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself, Nick. Do you really have to handle on all this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There really only one picture can paint. Anyway. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night. Let's step back in time. Akro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached the rope to the bust and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that time, not that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance at the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Brennan Twiller. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And then, when Aqua took his chance to release the rope, to release the rope. Now this is when the magic happened. At the very instant that the bus hit the victim, you wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix, right? As much as you scream, this isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up was snagged onto the bust. The impact also caused the sound certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. The witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out the window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Akko naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. But, of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it, primarily because in his wheelchair he wouldn't see out his window, so he just kept pulling the bust up. And that's how the magical murder disappeared into the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Akko, it could only have been you. Akko has been playing mind games for all of us. He sure has. But he has to come to the end of the rope now. So, what now? You graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But you didn't have any evidence to prove that all your fairy tales is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter: the power of evidence and the power of my wit. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. Let's explain how there can only be one possible murder method. But there is still something unusually about most eyewitness accounts. Unusual? A contradiction actually. Okay then. Use that and get out of this jam. That is enough talking among yourself. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claim. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to the magic trick. The problem is max 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were probably numerous times during yesterday's proceeding. Yesterday there were 2 contradictions in most testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool, do you ever shut up? Max silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Moe said yesterday? He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There was only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Moe saw was actually the bus. Makes sense if you look at it that way. Then he did see Still cat, well, sort of. Fine, you got one, but what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what the ventriloquist said in court? He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there was no white roses. I'd like to see how you try and explain that one way away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would have ended up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. Order. This is quite a shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's keep getting down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Miss Von Kammer will finally throw in the towel. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you understand why I think you're out of track, huh? Why is that? Motive. The witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relations to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Akko's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubt that Akko deeply respects the ringmaster. Akko's motive, huh? It seems that this case isn't over yet. Well, however, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of the Mr. Dingley's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. And this is where we end this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're gonna see each other next episode. Adios.